Right, before I start part two, I have to say that he went on another StreamYards and gave another interview last night. It was late and I haven't had time to compare the inconsistencies between the two stories, and I thought we'd just complete his first interview and then maybe we'll go through the second one.
Right, right. Well,
I
public
didn't do it. I
opinion,
know
I
I didn't
mean,
do it. I ain't worried about it.
public opinion is pretty major, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing.
I'm saying, well, you are if you got a public channel. Public opinion matters for YouTube. I mean, you're going to have public
Yeah, I guess you got
watch.
a valid point there.
Last night, public opinion, even activists and activist supporters who were listening to this, thought he was lying out of his teeth.
That's why I was thinking public opinion matters. So you would
I know that
probably
there are
should say you
people.
do care. I mean, I would think you would say, well, I do care, but I mean,
Okay, I care. I mean, not to a great degree, but my whole thing was just showing the injustices that are going on in our country, because some of them are just flat out outrageous. The cop shop down there is just totally out there. They're totally off the wall, and they need to be brought in. They need to be reined in. But back to the real problem here. We're talking about me, not them.
And you think a convicted nonce is the best person to do this?
Um, I know there are going to be people that will support me, that believe what I say, and there will be people that do not believe what I say.
yeah.
And
Fortunately, it appears the vast majority do not believe, and this is really where we have to look at those that do support him, like Dr. Sean Berry and XXGOX.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to change their opinion. I'll just tell you the facts of the matter is I didn't do it. I know I
Yeah.
didn't.
Uh-huh.
And in my mind and heart, I feel clean about it. I don't have that I don't have that guilt of
Do
ruining
you
some
ever,
poor
do,
child's
do you
life.
know, you probably didn't keep track of the person, hopefully. I mean, unless they're a close family friend or whatever, but you wouldn't
No,
have
I didn't
known
really
what
keep
happened
track of them.
to
I
this
only heard
person.
about it.
No, I was just wondering about the person's life, what it turned out like, what happened to that little girl in her future life.
She
I mean, it's been a long time ago, and did she end up with major depressions and things like that?
Well, that's a sad story all by itself right there, because I heard probably 12 years ago, maybe or so, that she was in some sort of an accident and died.
Obviously, we don't know if that's true or not. Possibly he's saying that so that it puts people off trying to get her side of the story.
Both of her and of the uncle that was diddling her, both of them is dead.
That is a very convenient fact for him.
Damn.
Yeah. I think the
Yeah,
mother
okay.
passed with the daughter in a wreck.
What state was
But
this? They're non-driving people, aren't they?
yeah, apparently so. But the the guy used to build boats or something like that. Did fiberglass work on boats or something. I didn't know him very well,
Now, with the advantage of listening once to him last night, there are definitely inconsistencies here.
and I didn't know the mom or the daughter very well at all. But the friend that I went to high school with, that's mainly who I went over to visit. We'd go shooting and hunting and fishing and stuff like that. But I never spent much time at that house where the poor child lived at.
I hate the way he adopts the word poor child.
Yeah.
And where the uncle lived on the property uh, adjacent to where he worked on his boats and that kind of thing. And
So, about a minute ago, you weren't sure about the boats, now you're sure.
when I walked in on them doing this, it there's a major amount of disgust that it's damn shocking. You just don't understand. And it takes a minute for your mind to come around to what you need to do. And at about, I don't know, 5 6 minutes after I walked out of the house, I jumped in my car. They didn't have cell phones back then, and
5 or 6 minutes you spent in the house. What were you doing?
I went to the local store and I called the cops about this, and that I don't usually call the cops about anything, but they went down and talked to him, and he said that I was the one that was violating this poor child, and the child didn't know better.
I'm certain at this point that he's forgotten that we know the child is over 12 years old, and of course she'd have been able to tell the difference between the two men. I mean, I am wondering if the uncle walked in on him and her.
Better. I mean, she didn't know that she was being abused by this guy, and
Oh, so you're saying she was a willing participant?
I can't speak to that. I don't know what her mindset was, but I know that she was a small child, very small.
See, he tried to convince people that she was too young to know, and we know that's bullshit.
And she didn't understand, I guess is the right way to say it, what this guy was doing.
Well, the
But
charge, the document says 12 to 16-year-old. So the girl was, do you know how old she was? Do you know how old she actually was? The actual age?
I do not know. Yeah. I don't know.
Did you hear that? He said that's a small child.
Because there's not a whole lot of documentation available from 1989. Now, I can go to the courthouse. I can get into the archives and the records and get every single piece. I don't know if I want to go that far. I really don't know if I care that much, to be honest, because, like I said, if you're going to come out and tell the story, you tell it the way you are. Everybody else is going to believe what they want to believe. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're all going to cuss me. They're going to cuss you. They're going to cuss each other. It's the way it works out here on YouTube. I don't know what to tell you, dude. As far as having a YouTube following, people don't stand too well with someone who ends up pleading guilty to a charge like that. You know what I mean? That's a very serious freaking charge. And as far as having a community, I think you would do better if you had a YouTube webpage talking about that actual type of charge and case and how many people are charged and done this, because I'm sure it happens all the time. There's people in jail that shouldn't be there for sexual charges. But you don't see a web page out there, never. From none of you guys that have charges ever make a web page discussing that charge. It seems to me like you tried to hide it. You didn't want nobody to know. Did you really think this was never going to come out? I mean,
certainly not.
So if he thought this was going to come out, why didn't he state it right at the start?
Certainly not. With the electronic age that it is today, of course it's eventually going to come out. And
right. So wouldn't you think it'd be better to tell somebody before you gain confidence, like in people like Rogue Nation, James Madison, and then they find out later, God damn, this guy's another one with a sex charge, son of a bitch.
No, I haven't heard directly from Rogue Nation, but I can confirm that James Madison has definitely come out against this guy.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, wouldn't it? I don't understand.
Well, I've always been an introvert. I don't go out hang at bars, and I'm not out there partying all the time. I don't go to parties and stuff like that.
Right.
I pretty much hang around the house. Always have. I just like it better. I'm not that sociable.
I wonder if that's because your locals know that you're a nonce and they don't want to socialise with you.
You'll notice that on my channel there's not that much content, even though it's been up for a little while. As far as pleading guilty to it, no, I didn't plead guilty to it. Now we need to get that kind of straightened out.
Pleading no contest is the same, ain't it?
No. After speaking to I don't know. Let me rephrase. After speaking to the public pretender, that's what they told me would be the best option. And the best option would have been to fight them tooth and nail all the way to the end and let the child go through the medical procedures that they would put her through.
Is he really that stupid that he doesn't know the child would have been put through procedures? Until we get the criminal complaint, we won't know what actually occurred. However, the fact that he's talking about the child going through medical procedures, one assumes that there was some element of penetration. Now, I'm going to conclude part 2 there. It's about the same length as part 1. And we may have another part tomorrow.